Hello and welcome back to the channel again. So today, rather than a patch from scratch, I'm going to go in reverse order again. So I've come up with this kind of nice patch that I really like. So I'm going to demo the patch and then I'll go through the breakdown afterwards. I'm really liking this new format for myself. So if you like it this way, then let me know. I think the format ends up a little bit shorter. But if you're still liking the patch from scratch, let me know and I will keep doing them. They just end up being a bit longer. So the reason that I've got this patch today is I want to show off the Qubit Chord. Now the chord to me is a little bit of an unsung hero. It's not really fashionable to me anyway, but I do really like it. So I want to show off just what the chord can do today. So we're going to have a bass line as we had before here with the dot and the squid sample. Drums here, bass line with bisimilus and a carbon. And then we're going to use the root and the fifth coming out into two javelins, a carbon and a mum mate. And then we'll send it through a bit of data bender, mimeophone, and we'll end up with this nice evolving patch. Now the reason it evolves, if you can't tell, I'll explain later. Those of you that are quite astute might see something over here. If you do, that's what's going on. Okay, so let's get started with the patch and then we'll go through the breakdown. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that. There's quite a lot going on in there. I can actually just leave this patch going and it will just evolve nicely with the chord. So yeah, let's get started and we'll just go through a bit of a breakdown here. So we're not using channel 4 here. I had that up high, but I'll just lower all these. So first of all, drums we have. So let's everything's muted. So let's kick off our clock. As usual, we've got Pams here. Pams is clocking our dot for our drums. It's clocking our mimeophone for our effects. It's clocking Metropolix. It's clocking mimetic. What else is it clocking? It's clocking the data bender here, which I didn't even touch. It's probably clocking all sorts of other stuff as well, which I don't realize. No, I think that's it on this patch. That's all it's clocking. So here we go. Got a kick, a hat, and our open hats. So there's just our standard coming through squid, standard kick. Don't really want to talk any more about that. We bring in our bass line here. This is Bassimilus. Why have we got no Bassimilus? Because the carbon, because I took the filter down, so let's just bring the filter up. Sidechain to the kick. And then Bassimilus here has a bit of morph modulation coming from mimetic, a bit of fold. That's all that's going on. I didn't really want to overcomplicate the bass line for this one because it's all coming from the chord on this top row, everywhere from the oct to the mimeophone. So I'll come to that just after I've explained the Metropolix, what's going on here. So on the Metropolix, what we've got, if we look at the triggers for the Bassimilus, I've got a lot of very long cables here going under and around, and we're also bringing them up here. So it's just to make it nice and clear. So if we bring back the Bassimilus here, the trigger that we've got going on here is coming from track 2. Now track 2 on the Metropolix is just 4 notes. Well, I say 4 notes long, it's 4 steps long, but we've got 1, 1, 1, 2, so it's 5 notes long with a rest on the 4th step. So that just gives us a slight movement. If we go back here, then that's very 4 on the floor. Add an extra step, and it just moves slightly. So that's the Bassimilus. Okay. Now let's come on to the chord. What is going on with the chord? Okay, so let's bring in channel 1 here, which I was using for effects. And then channel 2. Now I've just got them ever so slightly panned. Channel 2 is slightly panned off to the right, and channel 1 slightly to the left. So when we bring them both in, you get a nice balanced sound. So what's going on here with the chord? So what I'm doing is I'm using the root note here and the 5th note, just so that we're kind of arguably between whether we are in a major or a minor chord. So the root is going into envelope VCA Javelin, and then that is coming out and it's going into the mum mate filter. From the mum, we're going into data bender here on the left channel. And then the data bender is going into mimeophone, which is just clocked at a very slow delay speed here. So if we bring back in channel 1, this is our root. Okay, there's the root. Let's take the data bender out first. So there's the raw sound that's coming out. Now, we're getting some variation here because I'm using some very slow LFOs to modulate the bank and the waveform. So if we take those out, there's the default note that's coming out for channel 1. And we're just slowly evolving through these waveform and banks just to give us some slight change in the waveform that's coming through here. Bring the mimeophone back in so we can see what the delay and reverb's doing. We've got very high reverb here. The color is high as well, so when the slight mix that I've brought in there is at very high frequencies. If we take this down, then the mixed is coming through quite filtered. But if we had that up around about here. So you can hear how the LFO here, when it's changing the bank and the waveform, some of these have very high frequency, some have very low, so it's evolving through the filter, and I've got the mum mate turned down a long way. So if we turn this up, we're allowing a lot more through. So this is where I was modulating the two filters here. So this was on the root note, and we'll come to this one, which is on the fifth. So we can allow a load through there. But depending on which waveform it is, it can be a lot harsher. So as the waveform evolves, sometimes we have to take the filter down. And I love the way this works with the high resonance. I just love the fact that I can turn the cutoff all the way down and it doesn't turn it off. It must be something to do with the 80s. I'm not sure, but that's brilliant. I don't want to cut this off. I want to just take it down as low as it will go and still have a really nice sound coming out of it. So there's the root. We've got pitch here, volts per octave, coming out of just this one pitch channel here. And the pitch is sent into the buffered mult because I'm also sending the pitch into the volts per octave of the filter. As usual, standard practice, just so that we end up opening up that filter a little bit with the higher notes. That is running off channel 1. So if we look at track 1 here, track 1 is 7 notes long, but again we've got the 2 here, so this is a predictable 8-note sequence. So we see that coming off there, and then the fifth, I say the second track here is controlling the fifth, because we're going into the second javelin here. Oh, my mistake, the other way around. Gate 2 is controlling the root. As you can see here, this purple cable is going into this javelin. So let's just start again. The root goes into javelin number 1. The output goes into the mum mate, into the data bender, into the mimeophone. The fifth is going into javelin 2, coming back into this carbon here. So if we turn down channel 1, and let's go channel 2. So it's going into this javelin, into this carbon, so and then this carbon is going out into the right channel of the data bender and into the mimeophone as well. So we can get some nice stereo effects, but also some nice data bent effects. So if we bring both channels in, you see how they play off each other. Here, the root's coming back. And then finally, let's bring the data bender in, and we'll just, so this has to be very subtle, otherwise it's too over the top. So we'll just bring in a little bit of wet. And with that clocked, that's just giving some nice on the beat glitches. I've just left this in. This is what I call default mode, all the blue buttons. Everything is at 50% here, just to give us some effects, but we just have the dry wet very, very low. Just hear that again. That's roughly where we want it. If we go overboard, it's just too much. And with that kick, you can hear, with having this clocked, you can hear how the glitches are on beat as well, which I really, really like. So the data bender, it's not something I use a lot, but just subtly adding something in, I really like. And then let's bring the bass back. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed that. The chord, I'm loving the chord. I love the fact that I love the fact that I can use the root and the fifth. The seventh, I don't use the seventh a lot, not for the kind of music I make. The third, sometimes, if I particularly want something to sound very minor or major, I will use it, but I really like the root and the fifth, sending through two different envelopes, their own filters. The other thing that I like using here, I mean, this is quite an expensive way of doing it. I mean, you've got two separate filters. But the other thing I like doing is using the stereo dipole. I'll send it into both sides of that, and then you can actually use the stereo filter knob, and that works really, really well. If you haven't seen the stereo dipole, let me just see if I can find it. So yeah, this is the stereo dipole. I mean, it's quite a big module, but you know, you're getting a lot for your money here. You've got an entire filter down this side, which can be high pass, band pass, low pass, duplicated on this side. So I'd send the root in here, I'd send the fifth in here. I'll probably send the dipole outputs into the mimeophone or the data bender here. But then what I love about this is you've got the drive sections here. When you're bringing in modulation, if you're frequency modulating or you want to spread, then you've got attenuate levels here, which are really, really good, especially for this spread here and the filter. Of course, you've got the volts per octave, but then the secret sauce here is when you just play with this knob here, you set these, you create your separation of your two voices, and then you can just sweep this. And again, you've got stereo FM with attenuation and over your CV, and even volts per octave over the center. So for the price, I mean, it's pretty much the price of two filters, but what you're getting is great. If you can get hold of one, I would thoroughly recommend them, but they are very, very difficult to get hold of now with the shortage of chips and stuff. But yeah, if you can, I'd definitely recommend one of them. I know I'm not sponsored by anybody, I just love making music. So yeah, there's the patch. Things that you can do with this, you can load shred here, so the modulation points coming out into the basimilus and also going out into the voicing of the chord and the frequency of one of its cutoffs, which I think is the fifth. Yes, it is. So if we bring the fifth in, which is channel 2, let's load shred. Hear how that subtly changed? So we go back to the previous one. So it does add subtle change in. Voicing's changed again. Probably hear it more if we bring in the higher frequencies here. Go back to the original. Yeah, that's very different. So there's the original, and then the new. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Back to old. So yeah, I love the mimetic just for creating whatever you've got coming out of your CV. Just load shred, create some new ones if you like it, save. If you don't, just create a new one. So anyway, yeah, that's what I wanted to show today. If you like the new format, let me know. Give me a thumbs up. If you want to subscribe, great. Thumbs up really, really help though. Every time someone gives me a thumbs up on a video, it seems to go out to far more people. So if you do like it, please just give it that thumbs up. It doesn't take long. I know it's easy to just watch the video. We always watch our videos and then just carry on. Don't always click that button, and I know a lot of people go, yeah, click the button, click subscribe. It's a bit of a cliche, but it really does help if you do. So if you did like it, please click the button, and I'll produce more of these. I'll probably produce more of them anyway because I really enjoy doing it. If I can, I'll do it twice a week like I have been doing, but otherwise I'll definitely be producing them at the weekends. So hope you enjoyed that. I might keep this case together for a while because I've not had the chord in this specific case, and I'm kind of liking it with the data bender and the effects here. Could probably do with some more envelopes, so I can bring in the third, maybe in the fifth, and maybe bring an architect in. Oh, anyway, I'm getting carried away. But yeah, I might do another one on this case because it's really, really good. A nice simple bass line, lots of effects and stuff going on with the chord. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.